Hello, my name is Tom Stapleton, Executive Director of the Wakefield Community Access Television Station. And today we have Girl Scouts, Wakefield, and beyond. A very special guest, Pat Parcelin, the CEO of Girl Scouts of Eastern Massachusetts and a resident of Wakefield. It's an honor to have you with us, Pat,
Thanks,
at the
Tom.
WCAT studios. And I'm looking forward to hearing all about the Girl Scouts. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, as you just mentioned, I'm a resident of Wakefield. I've lived here for 30 years, and I've always been from Massachusetts. I grew up in Malden, and I was a Malden Girl Scout. I have 2 daughters and 2 granddaughters and 2 grandsons, and my oldest granddaughter is a Girl Scout also. She just bridged over from Daisy to Brownie, so I'm so proud of her.
How long have you been involved in Girl Scouts, did you say?
Yeah, well, so I've been CEO of the Girl Scouts just under 2 years, and before that, I was over 3 decades in financial services.
Wow.
Yeah, a long time.
So you have some history there.
I do.
Wow,
that's
great.
Yeah.
Well, we have another young lady here, Barbara Worley, and she's also involved in the Girl Scout program. Tell us a little bit about how long you've been involved in your position.
Well, I have been in Girl Scouts for 40 years. And I am going to tell you my life story very quickly in 2 minutes or less. That is me in the middle with my mother and one of my older sisters. We had full dress uniforms. My mother had gloves. We were very active. My dad was very active in Girl Scouts. Brownies was the first level you could be in at that time. There was not Daisies. And so I was very active in the whole elementary and high school. And I was also high up in the high school senior planning board, that kind of thing. We went to Dallas. If you hear an accent, I am from Texas. This is from Texas. And I also did resident camp counselor right after high school. We were paid $25 a week, $25 a week. And we were on Lake Belton in Texas near Fort Hood. So anyway, then I went to college, and I was a Girl Scout in college all 4 years. It was called Campus Gold. And then I had a little gap because I didn't have any children at that time, and then I was employed by Girl Scouts for 10 years in Austin, Texas, adult development and training and recognition of leaders and all that. So that was 10 years in Austin, Texas. And then I said, look, I got to get out of Texas. Got to get out of Texas. So I looked around for Girl Scout jobs in Worcester, I can't say it right, never could, had a director of membership job. So then I went there in early 2000 and was director of membership. And then I moved to Wakefield and became a volunteer in Girl Scouts, which was really exciting because I do training, I do cookie sales for troops, I did delegates, I do camporee. The 100th camporee was a big deal. I was the only person that I allowed to stay inside during the camporee. I felt that somebody needed to be inside a building during the camporee, and that was fine. And then we had rain and wind, and the tents rolled. It was really kind of interesting. So now I have a troop that I've had for 8 years, and Chelsea, that you'll meet, is in my troop with my stepdaughter. And that's me.
Well, that's pretty good. Your whole life story in less than 3 minutes.
Yeah, really.
Very good.
And I'm here.
Have you been practicing?
Yes,
that?
I have. Over and over in my head, constantly.
I'm sure. Well, next we have a Cadette Girl Scout, Chelsea Attardi. Tell us a little about your involvement in the Girl Scout program.
Okay, I have been in Girl Scouts for 5 years. But before that, I lived in North Reading, and I did Girl Scouts for probably about a year or 2. But they split up, so I moved to Wakefield, and I got some help, and I found this troop. I'm still young, so it's not like I have a large story to tell, but it's really fun because we do a lot of exciting things like making cards for soldiers, going on overnights, the cookie booth. It's really fun and interesting because we always end up learning something.
Well, you know, it's amazing, too, because you decided when you made the move from Reading to Wakefield to make that decision to do it, continue on with it, which is and where somebody else might say, well, I think I've had enough and everything, but it seems like you get an awful lot out of the program, and that's exciting. Yeah. Right? That's really good. All right.
You know, it's interesting, Tom, because
yes.
you're talking about Chelsea moving from North Reading to Wakefield, and so often girls that move, that was not a huge distance, but you're meeting new friends and new girls at school, and oftentimes girls are traveling across the country or from another country as well, or across the nation, and when they join a new Girl Scout troop, they feel there's so much familiarity for them. So as much as they're changing schools and neighborhoods and all that, Girl Scouts is a steady.
It's like a big family.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It is. It's that friendship.
Yeah.
And what I like is that Barbara, every single meeting that we have, we always have something new to do. I don't think we've ever done the same project twice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Barbara is very ingenious when it comes to different things like that. She can take a situation and make it really look great in a matter of seconds. I've noticed that around here. So you've got a good person to follow here. Very good job. Pat, what are some of the trends in Girl Scout these days, and what has changed over the years?
Sure. Well, still at the core of our Girl Scouts are our Girl Scout promise and being a good person and doing things that really make the world a better place. I think that's really important. But we've moved not away from, but we've added on to sort of the cookies and crafts and camping, which is still so important, to really ensuring that our Girl Scouts today, that we stay relevant for our girls. Because when you look at the amazing Chelsea, right? She's our future. She's going to be running our world. She's going to be, our doctors, our dentists, our mothers, our engineers, teachers, etc. And so we want to make sure that girls like Chelsea get all of the benefits that Girl Scouting affords them. And so often we see girls that start out as daisies at 5 or 6 years old, and then they get into the teenage years. And so many parents say they were so quiet, they were so shy, and then they turn into these amazing young women that are earning their gold award and putting together projects that really help our world, and it's just incredible, and our girls so often get scholarships because they were Girl Scouts to school, to colleges as they further their degree. So I think that the work that we're doing is really important, and we have a huge focus also on STEM, right? Science, technology, engineering, and math, right? Which is so important. Because I don't know if you know this, but in Massachusetts, there's about 160,000 jobs that go unfilled because we don't have enough of the skilled workforce. And if you think about it, girls like Chelsea, women are 52%, not 50, 52% of the population. So we have to make sure our girls get interested in those disciplines as well. So.
Well, when Barbara mentioned this program to me and everything, and I said, that's a great idea. And you mentioned something too, that this is the youth. These are the people who are going to be leading the world and the country and so on. And I see so much of this in the high school here of young people who have the talent that Chelsea has and is not afraid to step forward and make themselves known. And what happens is those people seem to get shadowed because of all the negativity that's going on in the world. And it's something that it's exciting to be around youth that have something going for themselves and look forward down the road instead of all the stuff that we just can't get away from the news and everything.
I couldn't agree with you more, Tom, and we need more young people like Chelsea that are going to grow into the adults that are going to make the world better. And what I love about our Girl Scouts, too, in addition to learning, core things like mathematics and outdoors and geocaching out in the woods and all of that you're learning a life of service, which I think can so often be lost, which is it's so important to give back to our communities, which the Girl Scouts do all the time. I'm sure you had some projects that the girls have done to, whether it's painting a room or cleaning up an area or raising funds. You talked about writing cards to the soldiers, right? Did you go to Hanscom Field and do that?
No.
For the cookies? So we had Cookies for a Cause at Hanscom Field, where our girls sold so many cookies and donated so many back, about 30,000 boxes to the troops, and the girls sent cards that went with those boxes all over the world. But giving back, it's a big deal.
We serve the community dinners at First Parish, and we've done that 3 times, and it was always different, serving the food. That's where we also meet. I'm hoping to meet at WCAT, though. I haven't talked to Tom about that yet, but I think our troop would like it here, don't you think? Yeah. I think so. Sorry about that.
And the last
always looking for space.
Yeah.
And the last time that we served, I showed up like an hour early because I was supposed to help out, but they had already finished what I needed to help out with. So they helped me cook for the dinner or brunch, as you will. But and they had me serve it instead of actually going out there and handing people their plates, which is really cool.
That was good.
That's wonderful. Great job.
Now, Chelsea has been to Camp Rice Moody.
Yes.
And I know that there's a day camp.
Yes.
Camp Rice Moody in Reading, I should say.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So we have quite a few camps. In Camp Rice Moody, which is in Reading, it's just past Reading High School. Yeah. We actually just did a makeover there. We put in new kitchens and new bathrooms and new flooring, and it looks amazing. And actually there's a bus. It's Rice Moody right now is for girls in kindergarten and first grade. And there's actually a bus by the Galvin School for summer camp for girls that are interested in going. But we have, Chelsea's too old for Rice Moody now, but we have several camps. We have one right in Waltham. And we've invested a lot of money. This past year we invested about $1.9 million in all of our camps. In the last year and this year, we're on track to invest about another $1.7 million, so that the girls have that great experience, whether it's new docks or climbing ropes, archery, making sure that the girls have a quality experience when they're at our camps.
Yeah, I went when I was probably about 8 or 9, so that was obviously a while ago. But I was one of the very few girls that passed the swimming test in my week. It was really cool because the pool, I'm not sure if it still is, but it was like 9 feet. I'm not sure if it still is, but
it's deep.
Yeah, and we'd all jump in, and one of the counselors got worried because we kept like diving and everything, but it was really cool.
That's great.
So most of the camp, you answered one of the questions. Do the Girl Scouts do camping? And obviously you've already covered that, but the camping is basically in the summer, right? Are there any camping?
Well, we actually it's the primary time period is the summer. However, we have year-round programming. We have snowshoeing in the winter. We have hiking that goes on. And some of our camps are themed. For example, Camp Wabasa, which is actually in southern New Hampshire, there's horseback riding, and we have women in from the UK that train the girls on horseback riding. And what I love about that, they're not just having fun riding the horses, they're feeding them, they're taking care of them, they're cleaning up after them. They're doing all types of things. And Camp Favorite, for example, down at the Cape, it's a sailing camp. It's really around athletics and doing outdoor water sports. So there's year-round there's opportunity.
And a lot of those are individual girls. They're not troops. And during the school year, troops such as ours camp at, often we got into lodge camping where we were in the nice lodges with the indoor restrooms and the kitchens, indoor kitchens at Andover and twice and Waltham once. And so then the fourth thing we've done is we did a camp out at the Hilton in Woburn, and because we were ready for that. And it had a beautiful indoor swimming pool and movies and things like that. So it was really the next logical thing for us to do, and the girls chose it. You know, I said, no, we should go in tents and out in the middle of nowhere, you know. So, but they didn't want to. They said, they came up with this idea, and I went along. So that's what, and in the summer tends to be the individual girls going places, and that's what's really exciting. And, yeah.
Well, Barbara, now that you've said that, how can a girl become a Girl Scout in Wakefield?
Okay. In Wakefield, I did want to say that Wakefield currently has about 365 Girl Scouts in all the levels. This is Daisy, then Brownie, then Junior, and Cadet, and then Senior actually looks, you continue with that with Senior. But the girls do not need to or have to do best. They don't have to do that, but it's here visually. So we have 365 girls and 40 troops, and the troops are really all different sizes. Most of them are about 10 to 12 girls, and then the There are 120 volunteers, adult volunteers. So in about August, September is really when the troops either continue running or they start forming in September, and they're really up and running by October 1st and beyond. We have rallies at locations. We put out a flyer in the schools, and then we have what we used to call rallies or registration. So the big thing about troops now, when you see the picture of my mother, she was my leader until 4th grade, and then I had another leader for the rest of the time who was a staff person at Texas A&M, so that was cool. So I had 2 leaders. Basically, the traditional troops now are tougher because you don't find volunteers. They tend to be women, they tend to be mothers that stay with a troop for a long period of time. Times have changed, that's all I'm saying. So you can have teams of volunteers that run a troop, and then you can have husbands or dads my husband is a volunteer with my troop. And so there's all different kinds of troops, but the main thing is you have to have adult volunteers. And that is one of the toughest things now because times have changed and people are, they're working more, they can't do it, they can't commit, they don't want to commit, they're doing other things. When I was a girl, we did not have lacrosse, we did not have softball, we did not have gymnastics, dance, none of those things occurred at that time in my life, so there wasn't a lot of competition. Now, when you want to be a leader, you've got a wonderful trainer in Wakefield. That's me. I will meet you at Brothers. I will meet you at McDonald's. I will meet you at the library, whatever, and we will do a training for whatever your needs are. That's one of the best things about Wakefield. We also have a longtime volunteer that runs Wakefield, Cheryl Dalton, and then Cindy Schatz is the registrar. So that's, I think, somewhat unusual in the other towns. I don't think all the towns have a solid volunteer corps that pulls everything together, but Wakefield does. So
I was just going to add on to your volunteerism. So the amazing volunteers like Barbara, and they don't have a lot of time, right? But they have a lot of heart, and they really care. They care so much about the girls. And the other thing that the volunteers get is they get that sisterhood. They have that friendship amongst the other leaders, and it's so powerful. And it's such a great gift that you give back to the girls. So thank you.
I can do nothing else. I had this job here too, but Girl Scouts is really, is what I do. So anyway.
Well, that's very encouraging to hear. I work with Barbara pretty closely, but we don't get into the Girl Scout program too often. But it's good to hear about this. So, Pat, what's coming up for the Girl Scouts in the fall?
Oh, so much. And when I think about it, and I think about Wakefield, and it's it's a microcosm of our greater council, if you will. We have 35,000 girls, Tom. Wow. That's a big number. We have 15,000 volunteers, and so everyone gets so excited about the fall because we have an opportunity where folks can go to Camp Cedar Hill in Waltham and get a sneak peek on all the upcoming activities, and it's a big wow. It's a big wow to folks to be able to go there. And actually, for those that register early, I think before the end of June, they get priority to go to the sneak peek. Just FYI for the volunteers out there. We have a camporee coming up as well in October. So you talked about the last camporee that was all rainy and cold. This one's going to be beautiful and balmy, and it's down at the Cape. And it's in early October. It's a weekend, so that's coming up. And I just think it's such an exciting time. As Chelsea was talking about just some of the things that the girls do, and even going to I guess it's glamping when you go to the Hilton. Maybe it's not camping. It might be more like a glamping, more glamorous, which is fine. So what the girls do is they start to get ready for fall product sales and cookie sales. And what they do is they earn a certain amount of 90 cents a box, for example, for cookies, and the girls decide as a troop how they're going to spend that money, whether they're going to go on a trip, whether they're going to do a community service project or whatever, or if they're going to do, maybe they want to go to France, and so they might save over multiple years to do that. So we call them our cookie bosses. So Chelsea's a cookie boss. Did you sell cookies last year? Yeah, so she's a cookie boss, and the girls learn really key essential skills around business acumen, customer service, sales tracking, etc. So they're really learning while having fun, and they hear no sometimes, not too often though with cookies. So it's pretty exciting. I think it's going to be an amazing year coming up for the girls.
Yeah, it does sound like it's very busy and a lot going on here. But I'd like to talk to Chelsea a little bit more here. What are some of your favorite Girl Scout activities, and what have you gotten out of the Girl Scouts this year?
I really like when we go on the overnights because Barbara, we walk around, and most of the time we know where we're going, but we can just go in circles for hours and we'll still find it so amusing. But we, instead of using the oven inside, we cook outside on the fire. And we'll do like hot dogs, or in the morning we'll do bacon, eggs. And it's really fun with the activities that we do every month because, like I said, none of it's the same. She always comes up with she's the most creative person I've ever met.
You come up with it. You come up with it. You guys come up with it.
I know what we show up and say. And throughout the years that I've been in Girl Scouts, it's made me think about what I want to kind of like do with my future. And I realized when I'm older, I do want to be a Girl Scout leader, and I do want to show people the path of what's good and what's not. And I kind of just want to give people the same experience that Barbara gave me, especially as a young child. And it's just been a very fun 5 years, and I'm hoping to continue.
I'm wondering, every once in a while, a new person will come into the troop. It is troop, right? Do you call it troop?
Yeah.
Right. And, so they're probably a little nervous and a little wondering how it's going to go. What do you do when somebody new comes into the group or into the troop, and how do you make them feel more relaxed and welcome and so on? Or is that just automatically there?
Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, because not everyone's like that.
Yeah,
but usually we just go up to them, introduce ourselves, explain what we're doing, kind of make them feel welcome. Just be very generous and nice. But the group already is.
Do you kind of tune into what they like and what they don't like?
Yeah.
That way you get a feel for where it's going to go?
Yeah.
Does it take long for somebody to adapt to the surrounding? No, I didn't think so, yeah. Because they want to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They signed up for a reason.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
And Girl Scouts have a motto, BFF, be a friend first.
Yeah.
It's very important.
It's very good. Now, I was not in the Cub Scout program very long, but do you have, I know there's a certain thing, the hand thing, is that it?
3.
Yeah, 3. I can never get my hands to do that. Do you still use that?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
Very good. Very good.
Absolutely.
What's the, is there a routine that you start off with every meeting? Do you have a certain protocol?
Well, I would say the DAISY program would have more routine. You notice these petals actually represent lines in the law, like to be honest and fair or whatever, each of them. So the DAISY program is very structured, with the leader pretty much deciding what happens, because the girls aren't really there yet. But then as you move to brownies, the brownies, we used to call these triads, the little triangles, the badges are things that the girls wanted to try. And so the girls would start to have more input. By the time they're juniors, they need to be and should be having more input in what they do, and there would be less structure. I think these meetings would be more structured. The junior meeting might not be as structured. When you get to Chelsea's age, and really what I had this little, she didn't think that they were deciding things necessarily, that it was all me, but actually one of I'm crafty that way, I'm sneaky, and so we did some things where they did a maze, and then they had Post-it notes on it, and they put Post-it notes that had things they wanted to do. Well, that was all about them deciding what they wanted to do. It wasn't about me, but I was facilitating. Facilitating is a big word in Girl Scouts because you facilitate people doing things. So that's why she probably goes away thinking, hey, Barb had a great meeting. Well, it's like Well, you guys did it. I just was there.
Yeah,
So that's why I'm continuing. I haven't really said. Each year I go, oh, do I want to do it again? You know, and it's really, I have no choice. You know, I really do want to do it again because the girls are there, and we do get new girls, and they come from different schools. My stepdaughter actually goes to school in Littleton, so we have St. Joseph's. We have different schools. So yeah, I'm going to continue. So you know, we'll see.
Back to Chelsea for a minute. Now, did you say you are a freshman this year?
No, I'm going into 8th grade.
Oh, you're going into 8th grade?
Yeah, I'm going to the Goblin Middle School this year.
Oh, this is your first year there?
Well, I went in 5th grade,
Oh,
but then I went to a private school for 2 years,
Okay.
and then I'm back in the Galvin.
Well, it's a beautiful school. There's no question about it. Do you have any Girl Scouts in the Galvin that you've been?
Yes.
Oh, you do?
Julia Moore.
Yeah.
Wait, do you want me to say their names?
Julie's fine.
Julia, Eden,
Mia,
Mia.
Oh, yeah.
is Bridget there?
Yeah, Bridget.
Yeah,
Regan and
Sophie
Hannah
and
used to do it,
Elizabeth.
but they don't do it anymore.
Sophie and Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah, Sophie and
They're
Elizabeth.
all
and I think-
really
yeah,
almost.
they're all around.
So you have plenty of help around there.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna have
And
to
then
go
when
on.
you go into the high school in a year, they'll all probably follow you there too.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring this up is because a lot of, like the Girl Scout program, it develops leadership, and I think that's one of the main
Absolutely.
reasons for it. And when you don't have to wait till you get into the high school, but even in the 8th grade, there's always people looking for leaders, and it doesn't seem like you have any qualms about not being a leader. Really, I can just see
good.
it now. Yeah. So keep that going, and when you get into high school, there's going to be so much available to you. Just take care of it all. It's just great. Pat, I just wanted to run something by you too.
Sure.
Can you tell us more about the Girl Scouts beyond Wakefield?
Sure, and I mentioned little bit earlier that we are 35,000 girls and 15,000 volunteers. So we're 50,000. We're one of the largest councils in the nation. There are 112 councils in the nation, and there's about over 2 million Girl Scouts nationwide, and 60 million alumni. So once a Girl Scout, always a Girl Scout.
Yep.
And it's an amazing organization. It has a great brand because of what we're doing with the girls. And as Barbara was saying earlier, even though Chelsea may have seemed to her that Barbara was deciding what to do, it truly is at her age girl-led.
Yeah.
They decide what they're going to do, how they're going to spend their finances, where they're going to volunteer, how they're going to volunteer, and in that leadership. Capability is so recognized by as the girls go into college. It's something that's so recognized and in such a great way. And also for girls that earn their Gold Award, if they decide to go into the military instead after school, they actually start out at a higher level in the military. So it's very well respected. And we talk about the Gold Award similar to the Eagle Award that the Boy Scouts earn. I like to say it's harder to get it. But I want to be
Sure it is.
equal. But it's a lot.
Well, we have about 1 minute left. Does anybody want to say a quick?
Very quick. I didn't get in my life story that I did go to India as a trainer.
Okay.
2 weeks in India. There's 4 world centers. There's our chalet, London, our cabana in Mexico, and India. So girls really
Spread out
the
there.
world.
Yeah, really good.
It's really the world. The beyond is that.
Well, this has been great. I mean, it's amazing how quickly a half an hour can go, but like I say, we have about a minute left, and everything's just been so interesting. It's interesting to me because I know very little about the Girl Scout program, but I know a lot more now.
I'll
So,
show you as
thank
much
you
as
for
you want to
Thank
know.
Yeah.
And next year, for our troop, I'd also like to do a lot more community service.
Yes.
Because personally, I like to give than to receive.
Excellent. And what a great thing to end on, right?
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's really, well, thank you all so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Tom.
you.
It's been a great time here.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.